Welcome to String Training, and this is our level 1 class to cover my arrangement of the Superman theme. Place your capo in fret number 5 and tune string number 6 down a whole tone, often called drop D, but because of the capo placement it's actually a drop G if you're using the aid of a tuner. Okay. Capo in place, guitar tuned. Let's take a look at our level 1 arrangement below. Now what I've done is essentially just given the bare bones melody for many of the main themes. Some of these themes are going to be very close to what you hear in the performance video. Others not so close, meaning there's a lot to kind of fill out the chords and such. But the introduction, labeled A Intro, is very similar to the introduction of our piece. Because of the tuning, we're going to grab the 5th fret here on string number 6, and we're going to alternate between that 5th fret and the open string number 4 with that rhythm there, and open string 3, 4, and that 5th fret again. So I've never removed that finger. And the theme I just played, I'm going to play it again, kind of works its way through the introduction. Just like that. Not much going on with our left hand at this point. Start again, but conclude differently with that open and 2nd fret. Start for a 3rd time. Exactly the same as our first rep, and then to conclude, very different. Open and 2nd fret on string number 3. It's the 4th and 3rd on string number 2, and then concluding with quote unquote what's the G chord. Again, I revert to open position no matter where that capo is placed. So that was our introduction. Now moving into the main melody, labeled A verse, and again this is just the melody itself. What we'll do is go through, learn the melody in its simplified form, and then take a second approach and add some bass notes to kind of fill out the sound after. Beginning with some open strings, string number 4. So this begins actually the measure just before the what's labeled A verse, which is open string 4 there, into open string 3 in that 3rd fret on string 2, which I'm going to hold with my 1st finger, again preparing me for what's going to come a little later. Okay, I finish this off with a triplet where we play across the strings. I'm going to play with 3rd, 2nd, and 1st finger straight across. Back to our first note. That's our first phrase. So we have. Notice I use my 4th finger, saving my 3rd finger for something else again later. Moving into the 2nd phrase. Same so far, but then our triplet is going to be the 1st and 2nd fret. And our conclusion a little different. So we have 2 phrases there, both very similar. Coming into our conclusion. That's pretty straightforward. I suggest you use your 1st and 3rd finger to play the 2nd fret on string 1 and this 3rd fret here. Again, because our other fingers might be busy playing something else. And our conclusion. That's a pull from the 2nd fret on string number 1. You should really observe the pulls and hammers within the melodies, because that's going to help achieve the speed and maybe create a legato sound or a very smooth sound. And we finish with some open strings. It's open string 3. Okay, quickly moving down to the B verse. You shouldn't move so quickly if you're still working on getting the A verse put together. You may want to stop the video right there, work on that A verse for a while. Really get to know it before we start to add some bass notes to that. But that is where we're moving in this lesson. It's now to the B verse. So primarily within our main theme, I'm going to add the 5th fret on string 6, played at the beginning of the measure for the first time here. So right when I move down to string number 3 open, I'm going to pinch that string number 3 open with the 5th fret on string 6. Maintain my grip on that note so it continues to fill up the sound as we go. Moving into the second measure, again I pinch that with my 2nd string. Moving into our next phrase, the note, the 5th fret gets played a little bit later on beat number 2 with again the 3rd fret on string number 2. Finishing off our next phrase, we end with the 5th fret again. So it's a lot of the same notes. Just kind of provides a little bit of foundation to play over. In our conclusion, where we had that melody there, the opens in 2nd and 3rd fret, I'm going to throw a C or 3rd fret in the bass here, and then that G or 5th fret in the bass with the 3rd finger. Okay. Coming into our final melodies here where we have the pulls, all that stuff. Then play open string number 4, open string 5, 3rd fret. So those notes there added to our melody. There's open string 5, 3rd fret string 5, and our conclusion. A lot of information here. Again, it's probably going to be hard to absorb all this within one sitting, so just take your time getting through it. Moving on to what's labeled as the A chorus. Again, there's no bass notes provided here, but this is going to be fairly challenging. We're into the lower register on string number 5. And there's our first melody. It's 2 measures. We have our open string, 3rd and 2nd fret, drop down to string 4. Okay, you may want to play that a few times. And essentially we're just going to have variation after variation. They just get more challenging as we go. Moving into our next one. So we have some triplets in there. I practice them by starting with my 1st finger on the 2nd fret on string number 4, doing that pull up to the 4th fret, and then coming back to the same 2nd fret and doing the pull from the 3rd fret. So again, we're looking at A chorus, and this will be the 3rd measure in the A chorus, moving us into the 4th measure of that chorus. Just open strings to start us off. So we've done 2 phrases here. I'll put them both together. Still challenging material. Moving into our 3rd repetition of this melody, a little different again. We have a triplet between the 4th and 2nd frets there. And finally our conclusion. So a triplet between open and 3rd fret on strings 3 and 4. Again, observe those pulls between the 3rd and open string. So I've got the 3rd frets and the 1st. My fingers all lining up with the frets here. Kind of like holding an F7 grip. And that concludes the A chorus. Now, this is where things get kind of tricky, as if they weren't challenging enough. We're going to throw in a bass note to kind of fill out the sound. Trying to maintain our grip on that 5th fret on string number 6, I'm going to play the main chorus melody. Maintain that grip. So I haven't moved my 4th finger yet. Playing that note, the 5th fret, on the 1st beat of each measure. second repetition. Now I do release that 5th fret to perform the pulls there. Add a 3rd fret or on string number 5 to our concluding melody, and finally again adding a 5th fret in our final measure of the chorus to fill out the harmony. Alright, let's see what's remaining here. I have the B intro, which if we remember the A intro, it was this. Played very, very freely. We're now going to take that melody and move it an octave higher. So we primarily got our melody here on string number 2 and 3. I'm using my first finger to perform this 3rd fret here. 3rd fret on string 1, across the 2 and open. Our next passage. Ending the same as before. Our 3rd time through. And again the conclusion, exactly the same as our A intro. Okay, so adding some bass notes. It's going to be the same bass notes that I've added previously, that 5th fret on string number 6. So here I'm just placing that right on beat number 1, pinching that with the 3rd fret, playing with my thumb. Next phrase, add some bass notes. That really fills that out. I'm adding the 3rd fret with my open string, open 2nd string, adding the 4th fret with this 2nd fret here. And our conclusion. Adding in some bass harmony. We've got the 1st fret with our open 3rd string. Now the 3rd fret with our 2nd. Wow, there's a lot of information in this lesson. I think by the counter here we're already at 12 minutes in. I'm sure for most students that's more than enough, but I am going to continue with this lesson. Again, probably best you stop and go through what we've already covered several times and then come back and take another crack at it. But what we've got now is the A bridge, kind of going over a C chord. Arpeggiating, I'm holding the grip, making an arpeggio of the chord, going string 5, 4, 3, 1 to the 3rd fret on string 2. A pull from the 1st fret. So I really like this melody, and it even sounds great in this very bare bones fashion. Ending there with a pull from the 2nd fret on string number 4. Start again, and our conclusion's a little different. This time we've got a pull between the 4th and 3rd frets here. I'm going to use my 1st and 2nd finger. That was a 3-5 to a 6. Kind of challenging to get that 3rd and 5th fret on strings 2 and 3, then using my pinky to get the 6th fret way up on string number 5. Okay, now we're going to take the same melody and I'm going to throw a C or 3rd fret with many of those notes, pinching them right together. For example, so that's right on the beat, right with everything. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Keeping that as steady as possible, keeping that pulse cruising right along. We start again with our C chord. Our 3rd fret on string 6 now, I'm barring across. Throwing that melody in. It's the 4th fret with the 3rd and the bass. that. And that concludes our level 1 class. So the level 2 is going to fill in all the missing harmony and some of the missing phrases that connect some of these themes together.